president's son will likely be indicted by the end of the month on a felony gun charge. Special counsel David Weiss's blunt warning came in a new court filing involving Hunter Biden's alleged illegal purchase of a gun in Delaware when he was addicted to drugs.
The Justice Department has announced that special counsel David Weiss does in fact plan to seek an indictment against President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, on gun-related charges. He's planning on doing so by the end of the month. Now, this follows news of Hunter Biden's plea deal involving the felony gun charges essentially falling apart. Now, Hunter Biden's gun-related legal troubles relate to a firearm that he purchased back in October of 2018. Look, these details are pretty important. I didn't even realize until literally today, because it wasn't widely reported, that the statute of limitations on that gun-related charge is set to expire, like in October of this year, meaning next month. But Republicans are dead set on essentially really aggressively pursuing this prosecution. There's been a lot of political pressure for David Weiss to pursue prosecution of Hunter Biden and essentially refuse a plea deal, even though he initially agreed to the plea deal. Nonetheless, this will essentially be a decision by the end of the month, depending on what the grand jury decides. The Speedy Trial Act requires that the government obtain the return of an indictment by a grand jury by Friday, September 29th, 2023 at the earliest. The government intends to seek the return of an indictment in this case before that date, the special counsel's office said in a court filing. Prosecutors have not said how many charges would be brought. However, they say, quote, "We expect a fair resolution of the sprawling 5-year investigation." I'm sorry, this is the attorney for Hunter Biden, Abe Lowell. "We expect a fair resolution of the sprawling 5-year investigation into Mr. Biden that was based on the evidence and the law, not outside political pressure." Unfortunately, it does appear as though the outside political pressure is working for David Weiss or working against David Weiss. Weiss is still weighing whether to charge Hunter Biden with tax crimes. He said in a court filing last month that a trial is now in order on the tax offenses and that he may bring tax charges possibly in California or Washington, D.C. This has to do with the fact that Hunter Biden failed to pay his taxes on time. He later had to pay $2 million to the federal government to settle his debts, along with penalties and interest. So Cenk, you're about to go off. I'm gonna let you have it, go for it.
Yeah, okay, so let me be clear. First of all, if you have evidence that he did illegal foreign lobbying or any type of corruption, charge him. Charge him with it and give him 20 years. No problem at all. And if you got him and it's true, I'm happy to have him get put away. I've had enough of corruption in Washington. But you're not charging him with that. You're charging him with horse crap. These charges are the most microscopic charges I have ever seen in my life. There's no way he gets charged with these if he's not the son of the president and the Republicans aren't screaming like banshees.
So let me jump in because look, when the plea deal fell apart, I understood where Republicans were coming from because it was going to essentially give Hunter Biden blanket immunity on anything, any other potential crime he might have committed up until this point, right? So if there was some illegal business dealings with foreign agents, if there was some illegal lobbying taking place, right? He would have essentially had immunity from that, and I even had a problem with that. However, it's important to keep in mind that Special Counsel David Weiss has investigated whether there was any shady dealings taking place between Hunter Biden and foreign agents. He looked into obviously the felony tax evasion, which he is dealing with as we speak. Illegal foreign lobbying, didn't find anything. Money laundering and other matters largely tied to Hunter Biden's overseas business deals, investigated that, has failed to come up with any evidence showing any wrongdoing in that regard.
No.
So now I totally agree with you. These are, look, we live in America. All sorts of people who shouldn't be buying guns buy guns all the time. When they get caught, I'd be shocked if they even get prosecuted for this.
No,
this is definitely a politically motivated prosecution.
100% political. And the Republicans are always like, "Oh, don't make things political in the courts." You guys asked for this to be political, and now it's. I've never seen a prosecution this political in my entire life. So let me just be clear about what those charges are. So he lied on his gun application about whether he was currently doing drugs or addicted to drugs. How many people have lied on their gun application that they didn't smoke weed or were on any other kind of drugs ever at all when they're buying the guns? I've got it in the millions. Millions of Americans have done that. Did we prosecute all of them? No, we prosecute almost none of them. Now, the ones we prosecute are because they then take the gun and they do another major crime with it. And then you could prosecute for the underlying crime. Okay, he did a bank robbery with the gun. Oh, by the way, it turns out he was also high and lied on his form. We'll also add those charges, right? That happens. This charge by itself is nearly unprecedented. And by the way, Republicans, be careful what you wish for. You really want this? You want this? Anything you filled out wrong on a gun form and we're gonna put all of you in jail? Go ahead, I dare you. I dare you. Let an ally of mine become president. Go ahead and lie on a form and let me see what I do to you.
Yeah, it really does set a dangerous precedent that could backfire on the Republican Party in ways that I don't think they're thinking about right now.
Of course not, because their eyes are like glazed over, like hatred, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, I hate them so much. Idiots, look at what he's charging. It would affect you 10 times more, 100 times more than if it would affect the left. You guys have a lot more guns. But no, blinded by rage, blinded. And the tax charge. He didn't pay his taxes and they said, hey, you didn't pay your taxes because you were high on crack. Give me the goddamn money. He's like, oh, okay. He pays the taxes at that point immediately and pays the fines. Do you know how many Americans didn't pay their taxes on time? Millions. Millions. We're gonna charge them all? We never charge that. Yeah, but no. The Republicans have to have their pound of flesh. And this David Weiss idiot is going out there and doing a political prosecution. Hey, by the way, incompetent loser, if you have corruption on Hunter Biden, we're all ears, we're all open to it. Yep. I hate corruption, but apparently you don't have it. So instead you're gonna do this for your own slimy career.
So the Republican Party, and in particular, the House committees that are hell-bent on trying to impeach Joe Biden, because they're trying to connect Joe Biden to Hunter Biden, right? The big allegation here is that Joe Biden sold his influence to foreign businessmen in return for cash. Allegedly, he's taking millions of dollars, and that Hunter Biden is really like the middle guy who's making these business deals happen. They have failed to provide a shred of evidence on that, and that is what they are planning on attempting to impeach Joe Biden on. So that is part of the reason why they are so aggressive in pressuring special counsel David Weiss to go after Hunter Biden with the prosecution over the tax charges and the gun charges. But what they fail to understand is if there have now been multiple investigations, by the way, the 2 House committees investigating Hunter Biden and potential criminality by Hunter Biden, they failed to find a shred of evidence on that. And then you have David Weiss, special counsel, investigating Hunter Biden specifically on those issues as well, failing to find a shred of evidence on that. If they're gonna keep pushing for this, and if they're hell-bent on literally pursuing impeachment, they're going forward with that, Cenk. I don't think they realize how much they are harming themselves politically.
Well, yes and no. So I think you're right that independents are getting totally sick of this Republican extremism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's showing up in the polls, and it showed up in the 2022 midterms, and the Republicans are still effing around and trying to find out. Okay, so that's true.
I think they're gonna find out.
Yeah, well, they might. But on the other hand, the poll came out just a day or 2 ago. 61% of Americans think that Joe Biden might be connected to Hunter Biden's cheesy foreign deals.
So you're right about that, and
that's a disaster.
It is a disaster for Joe Biden because it's just people are wrong. I mean, Joe Biden has gone to pretty extreme lengths to avoid any meddling in this investigation into his son, right?
Yeah.
That's why there's a special counsel involved, right? A special counsel that Republicans at first absolutely loved and preferred, right? And now all of a sudden they've soured on him because David Weiss isn't a magician. He can't pull tricks out of a hat and say, ta-da, There's no evidence of Hunter Biden engaging in illegal business deals and having his father be involved in those illegal deals, but this is what you guys want, so I'm just gonna make it up. He can't do that, right? But nonetheless, like, I just think that part of the reason why those poll results are what they are is because Joe Biden is just not good at making a case for himself.
He's not good at it. None of the Democrats are good at it.
Exactly.
Look, Hunter Biden is a block of cheese. Everything he does is cheesy. I got no love for him. The reason you'll never hear that on MSNBC and CNN and New York Times, etc., is because Joe Biden hates it when people criticize his son. So mainstream media and all of Washington, like, it's not that they don't write about him, they write about him plenty, but they're gentle around Hunter Biden, right? I'm not gentle around Hunter Biden. He doesn't know anything about Ukrainian gas. He doesn't know anything about art.
He's not an artist, yeah.
He says he is an artist, a scam artist,
yeah,
okay?
Yep.
So he's a block of cheese. I can't stand the guy. He's got massive problems, right? But show me a piece of evidence that connects him to Joe Biden. Not only have you not done that, you've done the opposite. They're like, the laptop. You notice that they're not talking too much about the laptop anymore. Because in the laptop, it says, we can't promise anything because we can't get my dad to do anything for us.
Right.
And by the way, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, DNC, the entire Democratic Party, like, we're the only ones that are talking about that. Why don't you say that to the American people? Why are you so incompetent?
I think they're operating under the assumption that if they address it, it's adding more attention to it.
Yeah.
And so they're hoping that by ignoring it, it'll, I guess, just go away or things will work themselves out. But in terms of, look, there's the actual judicial system and our courts, and then there's the court of public opinion. And it seems as though they're completely oblivious to the impact that the terrible, the terrible perception in the court of public opinion will lead to, right? Like the terrible results in the election, all that. It seems like they're totally oblivious to that. But look, honestly, one of the other areas where Joe Biden made some pretty terrible mistakes is, how about you don't, look, we know that Hunter Biden served on the board of Burisma because of who his father is. If I were Joe Biden, I'd be like, no, this is not gonna look good. I don't think you should do this, right? But okay, fine, that's done. The whole art thing now.
The art thing's outrageous.
If I were Joe Biden, I would take Hunter Biden aside and I'd be like, listen, bro, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Let's not do this art thing, okay? It doesn't look good because you have wealthy people buying this trash art that doesn't mean anything. The perception that it's meant to influence Joe Biden is there, and I think that is a legitimate perception.
Yeah, I guess he can't control Hunter Biden, but yeah, it looks like there's nothing illegal, but it looks terrible.
Yep.
And so I hate it. And look, they're two different people. Hunter Biden is not in government. And so here, by the way, as I've said 1,000 times, finally Jamie Raskin has begun to make this point on television. But Jared Kushner did $2 billion in corruption and he ran our foreign policy.
That's right.
Our own Secretary of State said, I'm not even the Secretary of State, Jared Kushner is.
That's right.
Okay, so Donald Trump did massive family corruption. Yet the Democrats are like, drool.
Totally, no, you're so right about that.
So you want to prosecute these guys and you got the evidence, we're here for it. But they don't have it on Hunter in terms of connecting him to Joe Biden or connecting him to actual specific acts of illegal corruption or foreign lobbying, etc. Last thing I'll say is sometimes people say, oh yeah, Jake, I thought we were for gun control and all of a sudden you want to let him skate on this. No, I would do 1,000 things on gun control. I would ban the assault weapons, I would do the universal background checks, etc. But would I actually prosecute conservatives on this or the IRS, the tax charge here? Hell no. Hell no, because I actually want to do gun control. I don't care if you put the wrong license plate on your form when you were buying a gun. We have so much bigger fish to fry. I would never prosecute that because unlike everyone else in politics, we're fair. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that
All you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.